Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Crystal. It's Wednesday, it's nearly lunchtime. No, I haven't gone out anywhere today. Apart from taking Max for a walk on the fields, which I do 3 times a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, once in the evening. All being well, because things happen to all of us. You get sick, you don't feel well, maybe the dog doesn't want to go out. So Alexa, what's the time, please?
It's 11:49 a.m.
Right, I went out to the co-op last night where I was served by a young gentleman, and he put my stuff into a bag, and I had no problem with that. I'm not going out to the co-op this morning, this afternoon, whatever. I got 2 days worth of food and bits yesterday evening. I went out later than normal. So I'm going to cook myself a pasty and beans and some mashed potato after I've done this video. Yesterday I had a takeaway, and sometimes after I've had a takeaway I can get a severe migraine, and the migraines that I get are the ones with the flashing lights where I can't see. So I know me. I know what triggers these headaches. I know what causes them. One of them is stress. And I just know what causes a migraine. You learn to cope with them. When I was a child, when I was 7 years old, I used to get one like every second day of going to school. I spent more time in the nurse's office, especially at secondary school, than I did in school in lessons, because of these so-called migraines, which involve flashing lights, your arm goes numb and you can't see and hear properly. And if you're crossing the road or you're waiting for a train, you can have an accident, you can get run over, you can fall into the train track, whatever. So I know my own body, and I know that it usually happens after I've eaten fried food. Now, I had a chicken burger yesterday. I also had some chicken bites, and the cookies are fried as well. So the chocolate chip cookies are fried. So anybody that has a migraine and they keep a diary, they know what triggers it off, right? And I know what triggers mine off, and I am going to wait until I've flushed whatever it is out of my system, and I'll go out when I feel okay, and at the moment I don't. I was very, very sick yesterday. Although someone might walk around the field, I've got to take Max out. It doesn't mean that you're fitting well just because you're standing up, which made me angry when I was reported to the job centre in Liverpool, because I wasn't feeling very well. And I'm classed as a vulnerable person as well. Vulnerable because people take advantage of me and treat me like shit, basically. Because I just am too soft. And it's still the case, because if I should have said to Charlie, don't touch me, don't do that, I don't like it. And I should have done something about it, but I let him do something I didn't want or like him doing. And that stems from being abused as a child. Letting men do what they want to me, you see. So I've got to stop that. And it's difficult, because some men can be persuasive, can't they? Because a lot of people that are abused as a child are very, very soft. They haven't grown up, and you're still living the abuse as an adult. There's still that little child in you that wasn't set free, that wasn't able to grow up. So you're a vulnerable adult. You're a child that's inside an adult's body that hasn't been allowed to grow up, because I was controlled by my dad. He was using and abusing me, and I wasn't allowed to grow up normally. So when Charlie came up to me and he spoke to me, it was like my father all over again. And I said hello, I started a conversation, and I just wanted a friend. But then these men, like, feel, why have they got to touch you? Do I need my hand holding? And he wasn't holding my hand because he wanted to be my friend, was he? And remember that abused adults, they're still a child inside an adult's body. Victims, right? So when he just took hold of my hand, hold my hand, then it needed to give me a kiss, and then what was going to happen? That's abusing a vulnerable person. That's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. I'm working through the abuse my father inflicted on me as a child because I wasn't allowed to while he was alive. He did not, he wouldn't even, he was such an evil man. He would watch programs on abused children and say that's disgusting, and he was doing that to me. He was doing, they're psychopaths. They will not admit to what they've done. They'll watch it. They'll watch documentaries on child abuse. And it's disgusting. It's evil what's been done to me. And he was allowed to do it. Right? I don't need another man doing that to me. Right? I don't need that. That's going to set me back. You want someone that is... I don't know. All the men I meet are wrong. I don't want to meet him again because I don't want to be used. I don't want to be put in that position. And now I know what he was doing to me was wrong. You don't touch women, right? Maybe I look younger than I am, but I am, it's not on. It's not on, and I'm a female. He was touching a female. Because some older men are homosexuals and they go after boys, young men. This Charlie appeared to be, well, I hope he was looking for a woman and not a young lad or a young man, because I'm a woman. Anyway. So, I took Max out for a walk. It was quiet. I went out by myself and I took Max around for a walk around the field. And there was no one on the field at all, which is perfectly alright for me because that's how I like it. I was able to let Max off the lead. He had a lovely walk and he enjoyed himself. And so did I, in peace and quiet with no trouble. I walked into my flat. And the post lady was talking to another woman underneath my balcony, and I was expecting a parcel. That's another reason why I stayed in today. I was expecting a parcel. So the female post lady rang my buzzer and she said, "Crystal, would you like me to send your parcel up in the lift?" And the lady came up in the lift, the post lady came up in the lift, and she said, she gave me my parcel and she said, "I'm going up to the next floor to deliver a parcel to somebody else." So she went up to the next floor after she delivered the parcel to me. Now, what I got was a retro games handheld games console, which was called a Nintendo DS in the early 2000s. A Nintendo DS. Very pleased with the sender. It was in this white jiffy bag and it's come from Foxlands Close somewhere. BA, I don't know where BA is. Alexa, what's the postcode BA?
From couponsu.com. BA stands for Bath. Postcode United Kingdom.
Bath.
If you'd like another answer, just say, Alexa, next.
So this parcel's come from Bath. Well packaged in an amber Soleil spray box. Amber Soleil suntan lotion. Nintendo DS came out in the early 2000s and I had a pink one and I wanted to go back in time. So the seller of the Nintendo DS, so this retro games machine cost me $24.99. Nintendo DS. $24.99 off of eBay. I'm very pleased with the seller because they've given me that for $24.99 I've got the Nintendo Pink DS console. We've got a nice zip case, Competition Pro, a nice zipped case, and we've also got three Game Boy Advance games. So anybody remembers the retro Game Boy machines, which I do. So I'm going to have to get a Game Boy Advance now because I've been given three Game Boy Advance games, and one is Pirates of the Caribbean, The Legend of Zelda and Over the Hedge. So we've got three Game Boy Advance games. We've got a cloth to wipe the screen. I can't use the Game Boy Advance games because I don't have a Game Boy Advance, so I'm going to have to get one because, like I said, I want to go through things and remember things. We've also been sent a Lego Star Wars 2. This is all in magnificent condition, being that it's nearly 20 years old. It's nearly 20 years old and it's in good condition. So there we are, the Star Wars 2 in the case, Nintendo DS game. I've been also sent Brain Training and Tamagotchi. And in here, I've also got Nintendogs. Nintendogs, which is playing at the moment on the screen. Nintendogs. So volume's on. We can have Bree, Sky or Dandy. So we're going to go for Dandy. And I think it's got stuck. Right, let's put the game on again. You'll see how it starts. Start it. You try to start it anyway. Turn it on. Comes on. Nintendo DS. Touch the screen to continue. Nintendogs. (2005) Nintendo. It's nearly 20 years old, would you believe? It's bad, isn't it? How time flies when you're supposed to be having fun. So I've Dandy. Supplies list. Go out, home. Well, I'm going to play around with that. So Nintendogs works. Now let's try Tamagotchi. Switch it on and off. Handy little machine. Touch screen to continue. There is no DS card inserted, so try it again. Turn it on and off. It's a matter of just messing about with it. Touch the screen to continue. Well, it's not picking up Tamagotchi for some reason. The last one is brain training. Yeah, I remember how to use it now. After all, it's nearly been 20 years. Brain training, how old is your brain? Come that way, so you can use it that way like a book. Look at that. Brain training. There used to be a game called Cooking Mama. Cooking Mama. I used to like that, the Cooking Mama game. Just try the last one, which is Star Wars 2. Star Wars 2. Let's try it. Trying to get the Star Wars 2 working. Lego Star Wars 2. Yep. LucasArts. Oh, that's cool. 2006, this game. Touch to continue. Where's the volume? Power. So that one works. I'm just going to go back to Tamagotchi, but I don't think Tamagotchi works for some reason. No problem. So you can. This is nearly 20 years old, and you can still pick them up and the games. No. No game pack inserted. It won't accept this one. Which doesn't matter. For £25 you can't go wrong, because I've got the console. I've got the console and I've got some Game Boy Advance games as well, which I'm actually going to try and get hold of a Game Boy Advance. I don't know how much they are, but I shall have a look. Yeah, Tamagotchi. It was a bit dusty. A bit dusty. It needed a bit of a wipe with a sponge. it again. I never give up. I'm not giving up on this Tamagotchi. Tamagotchi corner shop too. Fiddly thing. I'm going to... We won £10,000 gotcha from the Tama lottery. Let's use this money and open up shops at the Tama Mall. Let's open shops together. I wish. Well, there you are. It's working order. All the games actually work. I've just got to fiddle around with the Tamagotchi. It's a bit stop and starty. So we've got Star Wars 2, Brain Training, Nintendogs, little games like that, and Tamagotchi. And we've got 3 Game Boy Advance games and a nice little Competition Pro case. So we can add to this. Obviously we can add to it. Nice package, $24.99, not bad for a retro handheld games console. Right, what I'm going to do this afternoon is cook my pasty, cook obviously my lunch, and just carry on throughout the day, probably messing around with the console, catching up on some written work, and just staying indoors. I haven't gone out particularly anywhere today. It's paramount that I keep myself safe, because somebody is obviously trying to do things to upset me. So I'm just keeping safe and keeping quiet. But even crimes that are committed 20 years ago, right? We just want justice. See you later.